2 camping books already, huh? What could be so scary this time? Oh, yeah, that seems about right. So yeah, the original cover is quite a scary one. If I actually owned it when I was younger, it might have given me nightmares. Jacobus himself posed for it, but he gave Buddy here a creepy-ass smile. The turquoise slime goes well with the purple, which the 2000s reprint doesn't bother keeping. You might already notice the tagline changes: tennis, ping pong, monsters, anyone, to instead include canoeing. More diversity in activity environments, I guess. The back tagline is, "It's not whether you win or lose, it's how you stay alive," or, "Sometimes winning is everything." Next is the classic print, a bit of a spoiler for the plot, but if you saw the thumbnail, I guess I did the same thing. I do love oozes, so the more of them the better. Except for Monster Blood, we might have reached the extent of ideas with that. This reprint released alongside Welcome to Camp Slither, so we get some bonus features. This one has a game to killing germs, smelly things, weird competitions, scary camp stories, and splat stats. King Jellyjam is strong, smart, but slow, as expected. He can't fight or take a joke, and in the grand scheme of evilness, well, he's no Dweeblex. No episode, but we do have a comic from Scary Summer. Not my favorite art style, but who am I to judge? Today we have the story of Wendy and her younger brother Elliot. They're on their road trip type of plot hook, and the kids are bored. They both wanted to go to summer camp, but Mom and Dad decided on a cross-country drive to vacation in the mountains? I don't know, really. They're dragging along this nicely furnished trailer, so Elliot decides the one cure to boredom would be for him and Wendy to chill in there for a bit. This is definitely illegal, depending on the state we're in, but Dad says, oh, they'll be fine, and Mom's tired of these annoying kids, so they pull over to let them in. Now it's time for a really steep hill. The kids spend the whole time arm wrestling, laughing every time they hit a bump and the table bounces. Elliot's a sore loser, so in the best of 5 match, Wendy lets him win. Just then, the trailer lurches and the kids slam into the wall. It starts to feel like it's going backwards, which Wendy assumes must be Mom taking a turn on the road because she's a whack-ass driver. The trailer bounces up and down the hill until Wendy looks out the window. The car is gone. So yes, the trailer came loose and it's picking up speed. In any normal scenario, death or at least some broken bones would follow, but in this case, the trailer jolts and then it stops. The world goes silent and the kids are completely okay. A knock on the door means Mom and Dad are here, right? The most bog-standard blonde and blue-eyed man stares right at the kids, dressed like, well, a camp counselor, I suppose. For some reason, a white shirt tucked into shorts is just the typical camp fit, though he also has a pin that says, "Only the best" on it. He has quite a visible smile, let's just say that. You saw the cover. This is Buddy. He doesn't seem to care too much that they lost their parents or flew down the mountain for who knows how long, only concerned himself with how lucky these kids are to end up here at King Jellyjam Sports Camp. Initially, the kids want to find their parents, but Buddy assures that he'll take care of it, without ever getting their last names or any description of what Mom and Dad look like. Oh well, I'm sure it's fine. The kids drag their what should be mutilated legs up the hill to see the full banner of the camp, complete with the logo of what seems to be a purple smiling blob with a crown on his head. Buddy tells them this is King Jellyjam, the mascot, and doesn't respond when Elliot says it's weird for a sports camp. He tells them to just stay here while he works on finding their parents, I don't know, and how convenient. The kids wanted to go camping, and now they are. Not only that, but a sports camp, so they can do many things. They look around and ask Buddy about the rules. They can play any sport they want, but the one rule is to be a try-hard. Only the best, he says. The soccer match begins and everyone heads over, except for Wendy, stopping when she sees a little girl spying on her. She's only about 6 or 7. Sorry about that. Anyway, the little girl says, "Run away!" She looks away for a moment, and then the girl is gone. Weird. Wendy forgets about it quick, literally saying lines like, "So many sports, so much activity." Like this is a paid programming advertisement for soccer boppers or some shit. There's tennis, there's swimming, there's bowling, there's marbles. After a bit, another counselor leads Elliot to the boys' dorm, and Buddy takes Wendy to the girls' dorm. She asks where Buddy's from, and he says, "Weird, I can't remember." Oh well, that happens all the time. A new counselor pops up, a girl this time, finally letting us get away from this freak Buddy. Her name is Holly, and the dorms are so modern and luxurious. Seriously, Wendy might need to work in advertising. I mean, it's rare to see a camp where the rooms are actually white, let alone painted at all. Holly says she'll meet some girls soon. Maybe Deirdre, around her age, can be a friend. Then she just leaves. No instructions on where to go, how to get clothes, nothing. And then, let's get her! 3 girls burst in ready to attack, but it's just a hilarious prank. They all just came from some grueling soccer match, but in just 10 minutes they have a 4-lap swimming race. One of the girls is Deirdre, nice enough to lend Wendy one of her swimsuits, but when she says she just wants to wait around a bit, they freak out. Only the best! Dude, you can't just not compete. They don't really clarify. They're gonna be late. The race begins. Wendy starts out in front, but realizes quickly that she's swimming fast, and if she doesn't slow down, she'll be out of stamina. She slows down, managing to still outpace nearly everyone but Deirdre. On the home stretch, she realizes she might be able to win, but seeing how determined Deirdre is, just like the arm wrestling match earlier, she lets her opponent win. She's exhausted, and when she finally gets out of the pool, she congratulates Deirdre, seeing the counselor handed her a shiny gold coin with King Jellyjam on it. Deirdre yells out how this is her 5th coin, and if she gets one more, she goes on the winner's walk. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's too late to ask because Holly says there's a problem. Wendy starts to freak out, but then Holly says the problem is you didn't try hard enough to win. Consider this a warning. For what? You know she isn't going to clarify. Wendy walks away thinking, who gives a damn about some fake-ass gold coins? Can I just have some fun in this camp I literally fell into? Anyway, she finds Elliot, knocked down on the ground. He sits up like the Undertaker and laughs. She always falls for that joke. He begs her to come watch his ping-pong reenactment of Marty Supreme because he's going to try and get 6 coins before Mom and Dad find them. He's on the 3rd and final match against some older kid named Jeff, and while nearly on the breaking point, Elliot wins. And then, earthquake! Buddy tells her to calm down, and sure enough, the rumbling fades quickly. It seems this happens once or twice a day. Buddy has no idea why, and literally nobody cares about it. Sounds like something that needs checked out, but oh well. Some of the girls rapid-fire questions to Wendy at the lodge, and it basically boils down to, we need more girls for the tennis tournament, so why not join, eh? Wendy has an idea, though. Why not just call Mom and Dad? She looks around, finding 2 phones by a dorm building, but someone grabs her from behind. It's Deirdre telling her to check out her stack of coins. 6 already. She'll be at the winner's walk tonight. Yay! She tells Wendy to get moving on getting some coins, and I don't even know how much time has passed so far. The afternoon at best? All the excitement is contagious, and Wendy completely forgets to call Mom and Dad, swept up in having some fun by winning. Well, now it's finally dinner time, and when it's over, the counselors lead everybody to the track. Counselors line up with torches and fanfare plays. 8 kids made it to the winner's walk today, and they all happily march into the darkness while everyone chants, only the best. Cult-like, but fun. The girls, the other 2 in the room, are Ivy and Jan. I'm sure they won't last, are having their party. It was Deirdre's idea, but she's not here for some reason. They decide to sneak out and find her, that there's a 10 o'clock curfew. But what could possibly happen? It is hot and it is wet. The girls all pass their stealth checks but don't find Deirdre anywhere. Then, like a true random encounter, a swarm of bats descend to attack. Except they don't actually attack, they just swoop past and take some dips in the pool. Luckily, all the screaming Wendy just did didn't alert anybody either. They notice a counselor walk off somewhere and try to follow, but the rumbling happens again, knocking them to the ground. Frustrated at all this BS, they decide to just give up for tonight, and then, footsteps running towards them. Help me! The little girl from earlier behind the tree comes sprinting out, yelling for help. She's shaking and says her name is Alicia. She saw something terrible, but no one will listen to her. It's too dangerous here. There's really no way to calm her down, and the counselor that just caught them certainly doesn't help. He asks, what are you doing out here? But before Wendy answers, another counselor does instead. It seems this guy didn't see them, but another counselor. They argue about if they were following each other, then they go walk off. Once they're gone, the girls turn around to see Alicia is gone. They make it back to the dorm unseen, and no counselors are inside at all. Deirdre still isn't back yet. They turn out all the lights and discuss what to do. Jan mentions her king coins like maybe Deirdre's in some exclusive winner's party, and then she pulls out a dresser drawer. Oh no! All of Deirdre's shit is gone! It's just like Camp Nightmare, though without all the gaslighting. In the morning, Deirdre's still gone, and Elliot's so focused on winning coins, he barely even cares about Mom and Dad anymore. Buddy comes by, and Wendy stops him to ask about Deirdre. He pauses for a moment and says, Deirdre. Checks clipboard. Yeah, she's gone. Yeah, I checked right here, it just says she's gone. Have a nice day. She grabs him again to ask about Alicia. He has no idea who that is, but Wendy makes sure to mention she's about 6 or 7. No! He checks the clipboard again and, yeah, she's gone too. Wendy runs over to the girls to tell them this horrific news, but they're so swept up in a volleyball tournament they don't hear a thing. She runs over to tell Elliot, barely stopping him from leaving. While her mention of the girls going missing catches his attention, he decides kids gotta leave sometime. And Mom and Dad, I don't know why they haven't found us, and you just suck ass at sports, Wendy. So he leaves. Wendy decides to fall back on her old plan of calling Mom and Dad. Then she can play a sport to take her mind off things. Remember Camp Nightmare like 24 books ago where the phones just didn't work? Well, it's almost like that. The phone just plays an automated message about being only the best. Wendy goes around looking for a real phone, but stops when she stumbles upon Elliot's one-on-one basketball game. He's up against Jeff again and losing because of the clear height difference. Unlike hit animated movie GOAT, which should be paying me for even mentioning it, Elliot gets his ass kicked, which means Jeff gets his 6th coin. Wendy turns around to see Buddy frowning at her, then he says, "I'm sorry, Wendy, but you have to go." Go find a sport, of course. She's been slacking all day. He hands her a schedule to help motivate her to get some shit done. First a tennis match, then some softball, etc. At the tennis courts, Wendy meets Rose, the first confirmed black person in any of these books. Took you long enough. She already has 5 coins, makes some small talk. Expectedly, she never plays for fun, only to win. And so she beats the hell out of Wendy, and it's time to play softball. Apparently, whatever team wins, everybody gets coins, so the pressure is on. When it's her turn to bat, she doesn't notice Buddy, who she smacks as hard as she can in the chest. Buddy compliments her skills and says maybe she could use a lighter bat. Wendy's confused. How the hell did he take a bat to the ribs and not even flinch? At dinner, she tells the girls about it, and they say maybe she isn't that strong, but the sound it made says otherwise. She looks over to Buddy constantly, but he looks perfectly fine. Later, the winner's walk happens, and yet again, Rose and Jeff are gone in the morning. Wendy starts to freak out more and more, trying to find Elliot and being caught by Buddy to escort her to her softball game. She doesn't want any damn coins, she wants to leave. So what she's gonna do is take Elliot, sneak out at dinner, and find the nearest police station. She loses again and flash forward to dinner where she manages to find him, who, as you'd expect, doesn't want to leave at all. At least not until he gets a 6th coin, only one away. Wendy realizes Elliot's competitive spirit means there's no way she can convince him otherwise, so he promises that after tomorrow's track meet, win or lose, they'll leave. After another winner's walk, Wendy decides to sneak away and lay on the grass. Also, how many kids are at this camp? Eventually you'd have to notice all these kids disappearing, unless there are like hundreds here. She hears some voices, counselors, all walking together. She assumes they're all having a meeting at the lodge, but no, they actually turn and start going into the woods. She follows along slowly, noticing a small white building low to the ground, and follows inside. A dark, dimly lit concrete entryway leads into an open doorway, and then a square room. Inside is a torch-lit theater of some sort, where all the counselors sit on benches in front of a stage. Wendy sneaks into a sort of closet as Buddy approaches the stage. He holds up a coin and chants, "Time to refresh our minds. Clear your minds as I have cleared mine." Ooh, hypnotism. Clear your minds to serve the master. Oh no, who the hell is this master? This hypnosis leaves them in some unfeeling state, hence why he couldn't feel that bat earlier. Only the best, everyone chants over and over until the room goes quiet, and Wendy sneezes. Every time with this shit. She even sneezes again. Buddy points in her direction, but because it's so dark, he doesn't even know it's her. She steps back to avoid being caught, nearly falling down another stairway. Not a closet at all. With her only escape chosen for her, she moves down quickly, as the air begins to get humid, smelling like sour milk. Something smells horrible down here, and it only gets worse as she goes down. She makes it down the stairs into a tunnel, and at the end is a brightly lit room with a bunch of kids with mops, buckets, and hoses. They're all cleaning off some giant purple thing groaning. King Jellyjam. Not some cutesy little jello monster, but a nasty-ass mound of slime wearing a crown. He has 2 watery yellow eyes, and his nose is dripping thick, white goo. Okay. It keeps going with all these disgusting things. How bad it smells like... Imagine every Bean Boozled flavor. He smells like that. And he burps, of course. The kids are all frantically watching him, and as they do, snails start popping out of his skin. She notices all the missing kids are here watching this nasty thing. Wendy finds Deirdre, and she says through tears that only the best get to be King Jellyjam's slaves. Apparently they have to keep watching him. He hates his own smell. If anyone takes a break, he eats them. The counselors are all hypnotized, but the kids aren't. Seems like a bit of poor planning on Jellyjam's part, but oh well. Deirdre tells Wendy to run, but it's too late. King Jellyjam roars, and for a moment they think they're dead, but his eyes are closed. How lucky. Deirdre tells her to run and get help, and gets back to cleaning. Wendy also realizes all of these constant burps must be what shakes the ground. Wendy runs through the tunnel, up the stairs, to the stage, seeing all the counselors are gone, maybe out searching for her. She steps outside for some air, seeing all the counselors' flashlights darting around the woods. She manages to Metal Gear Solid her ass all the way back to some tall hedges by the lodge, and then she wakes up. Somehow she fell asleep in the grass from exhaustion, just in time to see the track competition has begun, and Elliot's about to win. She needs to stop him. He can't get put down there to watch that nasty slot monster. There's no way! No way to stop him, unless she beats him. Despite the other kids being miles behind and Wendy having not even started yet, she catches up and tackles him. Other kids manage to beat them soon after, and while Elliot's initially pissed, he sees how scared Wendy is, and that a few counselors start chasing after her, so they both start sprinting, all the way to King Jellyjam's chamber. Wendy screams, "Hit the floor, now!" Though some kids are hesitant, eventually they all listen and stop watching. King Jellyjam tries to grab Alicia, but Wendy's assumption was right. Jellyjam's arms are like a T-Rex, and he can't grab anyone low enough to the floor. Jellyjam starts flipping out, desperately trying to grab a hose or a bucket as the smell gets even worse. Somehow he accuses Wendy correctly, and even stranger, she's still standing up, so he grabs her. I don't know why she isn't following her own advice, but just as she's about to be eaten, the grip loosens. Jellyjam falls forward dead, suffocated by his own smell. Yay, yay, everyone cheers and such, but as the kids make it outside, the counselors block their escape. The counselors all stand like robots until two police officers approach, blowing whistles. This seems to break the counselors out of their trance, and they all wonder where they are and what's going on. Wendy asks the officer how they knew they needed help, but actually they didn't. Jellyjam's smell was so damn bad it floated over into town and the police came to investigate. Later, the kids are back home. Apparently every time they or the police tried to call, the brainwashed counselors said they weren't there. 2 weeks later, Buddy arrives at the house, apologizing for what happened. He also asks for Elliot, still remembering that he should have really won that race, and offers him a king coin. Elliot takes it because King Jellyjam is dead. What matters if he gets his 6th coin now? But then, the smell comes back. Oh no. Mom then laughs. What's wrong? I have a pot of Brussels sprouts boiling on the stove. Ah, happy ending. No twist to be seen here. King Jellyjam is honestly one of my favorite monsters in Goosebumps so far. Of course, we don't see him for a long time, but what makes it different is that he's hinted. His earth-shaking burps, the kid's going missing for some reason, leads you right to his extremely disgusting description when he first appears. He does go out like a bitch though. How the hell did he even survive long enough to get where he was if 5 minutes in a closed space suffocates him? It's unfortunate we didn't get an episode for this. Perhaps his description was so detailed the budget couldn't handle it. I also think the camp itself is a bit insane. I thought for most of the book the counselors and the kids were brainwashed to overexert themselves and play a billion sports a day, but no. Just seems that this is the status quo of the camp and the only thing different is the slavery. Not my cup of tea, that's for sure. But did you learn for the second time why you should never attend summer camp? Do you now question if every earthquake is caused by a burping slime monster? Think on that because in 2 weeks it's time for the revenge of the lawn gnomes.